first you pray, you get what you were praying for, you have the solution in front of you, but now the same religion that made you pray is actually preventing you from accessing what you prayed for. Alright, this is Mike Sigula from TrueTheory.com and welcome to another episode of True Spirituality. This is my series on metaphysics, esotericism, mysticism, spirituality, etc. And today we're going to talk about dangers of religion. And I suggest to check out episode 6 of True Spirituality, titled The Biggest Difference Between Religion and Spirituality, before we're going to start. And let me say that I'm not anti-religion completely. I think there are many practices that are very valuable in many religions, and unfortunately there is a lot of twisted half-truths. People interpret things differently. Some things that are maybe some myths are interpreted as literal events by others. So there is a lot of misunderstandings, and often, religion is used as a form of mind control. Wars fought in the name of religion, how people should behave, all these kind of things, right? And today I'm gonna share with you one example of how religion actually can be dangerous. So years ago, I was living in this big house in London with my family and some friends there, and at one time we had this flatmate, a guy who moved in, and was a guy who basically grew up in Catholic background, was very religious. He would read books about saints, Bible, pray every day, go to the church, etc. And at the same time, he actually had a lot of anger issues. So he would lose his temper regularly, and this was linked to his childhood, where as a kid his father would beat him up. For example, when he was a kid, he would drive with his dad and his dad would shout at other people, and now as an adult he was doing exactly the same thing. And he also grew up doing boxing and getting himself in trouble on the streets sometimes, so he had a lot of anger, a lot of problems with his temper. And he shared with me at some point that because of these problems, he actually lost his family. His wife left him, he had a son with her, and he really wanted to change. He wasn't a bad guy or anything like that. He really wanted to fix himself. So, this is such an interesting thing, because he moves into my house and he was praying a lot to change himself. And he moved into my house where he meets me, someone who's been meditating for, at that time maybe 6 years or more. And meditation really helped me with making me calmer, less reactive, less stressed, etc. So I thought this is a perfect tool for him to help him with some of his problems. Another important thing is that I also had a friend who actually had a very similar story to him. So this other friend, he also was growing up with dad who was very abusive. His dad was a martial arts teacher, and he would also beat him up as a child. And this friend also grew up having a lot of anger. He could snap at people easily. So very similar story, very similar scenario. And this other friend, he got into Buddhism and started meditating. And after a couple of years, he completely cleared his problems. He stopped getting angry. He stopped being explosive. We actually even went together for 1 week Vipassana meditation retreat together. Not only I had a solution for his problems, I also had a case study where exactly the same story or very similar scenario happened already, and I knew it worked on someone else. So I thought, okay, you are praying to your God, to get solution. Here is the solution. You just found your solution. You moved into my house where I can actually show you and teach you how to meditate. So here is the funny part. According to his teachings, he used to read these books about saints and he believed in whatever they were saying. So they were saying that anything like meditation or yoga or tarot cards. All these things are evil, part of the devil's work, whatever. He would basically not want to even hear about these things because he thought that this is a trick, you know. And you would think, how could anyone think that meditation is some kind of evil occult practice? That was like years ago, first of all. Second thing, he was from a small town in Poland, so he didn't really have a lot of perspective on anything outside of his teachings in terms of any kind of spiritual work. And I tried to convince him and show him things. I would send him maybe some TED talk. He was completely programmed. He wouldn't even want to access this information. So I thought this is so fascinating because first you pray, you get what you were praying for, you have the solution in front of you, but now the same religion that made you pray is actually preventing you from accessing what you prayed for. And I have an interesting analogy to compare this case to something. Someone told me this joke. There is a guy on the island and he's praying to God for help to save him, and the boat comes and they ask him if he needs help, and he's like, no, I'm waiting for God to save me. And the helicopter comes and they ask if he needs help, and the guy says, no, I'm praying to God and I'm asking him for help and I'm waiting for him to save me. Finally God said to him, listen, I send you the boat, I send you the helicopter, and you didn't use it. So this is the kind of example of what happened here. He's praying, he gets solution, he doesn't see the solution because of his religion, because of his programming. And the interesting thing is that I would consider him a critical thinker to some extent. We used to talk a lot about politics, and he really had understanding of what's going on in the world. He wouldn't be a guy who believes everything on the mainstream news. He really knew how things work. So you would think that this is someone who is actually intelligent and really can evaluate things with some level of rationality, etc. But when it came to religion, we used to get into these discussions about different concepts, and you can't explain anything to him. Anything that is against whatever the thing he's programmed with, he wouldn't even listen or believe or anything like that. So this is an example of danger of religion. Programming from childhood, it's like a mind control. You can give him the most rational argument in the universe. Now, this is like against my whatever teaching or this saint or whatever it says in the Bible. Yeah, this is an example of conditioning and programming that religion is creating, and how the mechanism, why he attracted solution in form of me. I don't know, maybe it's his spirit guides, maybe his higher self, doesn't matter here. It's about, that he didn't see that. And it's sad because really some of the things that I could help him with would really change his life probably, and could really help him with so many problems, but he was way too programmed to see that. Another interesting example, same guy, how actually the universe, let's call it, is trying to show him options and solutions. One time, because he was a truck driver, he also had these problems where, sometimes he would park a car somewhere for a moment and people would be like, oh, move a car, and sometimes he would snap back at them. But one time he told me this story, some guy asked him to move the car, and instead of reacting again with anger, he decided okay, let me try to be nice and let me just do what the guy says. And actually once he did exactly that, the guy said he runs a truck company and he offered him a job and gave him his business card. It's almost like the universe wants to show you, see, you're gonna work on this side, you're gonna get more, you're gonna get solutions, you're gonna get outcomes. So let me know what you think about this story, and if you're new to True Spirituality, check out other episodes. This is episode 10 already, and let me know in the comments what are your thoughts about this story. Please share this video if it resonates, send it to your friends, like and subscribe if you are new to this channel. Until next time. Hey guys, Mike here. Just a quick note. I'm currently offering one-to-one mentoring and coaching through our Patreon page. So as some of you know, I've been interested in personal development for 15 to 17 years, and during this time I really spent enormous amounts of energy into researching and practicing different techniques. So I'm offering one-to-one video calls through Patreon, and this is really affordable as well. So some of the things that I can help with are to do with starting an online business, building personal brand, increasing happiness, improving mental and physical health, stress reduction, building confidence and self-esteem, finding your passion, discovering your life purpose, spiritual development and going through spiritual awakening, and many other things. So check it out. It's patreon.com/Truth Theory. It's patreon.com/Truth Theory.